Hi, this is Alken, and welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm getting some very interesting stories about people getting fired left and right for usually on the left. Posting videos celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. In fact, I got an article from the Gateway Pundit. A South Carolina lawyer says he's been flooded with calls from unhinged people on the left after they just got fired, and he had to put the cold water over them and saying, I'm sorry, I know you have the First Amendment, but being this is a right to work state, it's not that easy. Anyway, so this is a story from the Gateway Pundit by Jim Hoff. Says South Carolina lawyer says he's been flooded with calls from unhinged liberals fired over vile posts celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Ooh, what is that all about? So a South Carolina lawyer said his office has been flooded with calls from deranged leftists begging for legal help after they were fired for cheering the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA. So this is Sean, I hope I'm saying it correctly, Sean Kent of Kent Law Firm LLC in Manning, South Carolina, revealed that at least 6 different individuals, teachers, government staffers, and other so-called professionals had reached out to him claiming they were suspended or terminated after making disgusting social media posts celebrating Kirk's death. Interesting. Kent made it clear he has little sympathy for the plight, but South Carolina, as Kent reminded him, is a right-to-work state. That means employers can fire employees at will, especially if they are caught cheering a political assassination online. Can't recall the old saying, stick and stones may make bones, but names will never hurt me, lamenting that America has apparently forgotten the principle. According to Kent, many of the terminated employees falsely believe they can be sued under the First Amendment. He corrected them with a blunt truth. This is what the lawyer said. The amount of calls that we had received, well, I think there's not that many, but now 6, were for individuals specifically saying, I want to make sure I can get this right. I had been terminated. I've been put on suspension by a job for things that I had said on my private social media accounts. First of all, I want you to think about these things, private and social media. They do not go hand in hand together. A lot of comments we're getting are specifically about the unfortunate death of Charlie Kirk. Why did I say unfortunate? Because I don't care who you are as a human being, you should not be root for another human being's life being taken, whether you agree with their political views or not. I'm old enough to remember the phrase sick and stones may break bones, but names will never hurt me. I think we have forgotten that in society. If we were to get to the point where somebody says something and we think they deserve to die, that's a problem. And that's what a lot of businesses is having a problem with. There's a part of me that actually believes that Mr. Kirk, whether I agree or disagree with his views, deserves respect for being willing to engage in logic debate. So right there, you lost. And by the way, that is what we do as attorneys, and we have different views of our opposing sides. It's basically an intellectual debate. You should not lose your life to engage in intellectual debate with anybody. There's also a part of me that believes that I don't know if he actually believed half of the stuff he was saying, because some of it was just rage, baiting to get encouragement. By the same definition, we are going to start saying we have a problem with Leonardo DiCaprio for playing a racist in a movie, even though he's just acting. Anyway, what ends up happening is that people are forgetting about the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. They are saying, hey, Mr. Kent, I have freedom of speech. I should be able to say anything I want at work or on my private social media account. Again, no such thing. Stop saying this is private. One, it is not private because you're posting it. Socially, by definition, it's social media. Come on. When I encourage people to remember this, your employer, especially in South Carolina, has rights. South Carolina is a right to work state. You don't have unions in it. What does that mean? It means your employer can, you know what? Can say, get the fuck out of here. You're not going to listen to this discourage. You're not going to post this stuff on the page. Some individuals have come to us and said, I'm a teacher and my school district has just suspended me because I said Charlie Kirk deserved to die. Well, are you teaching our kids? Or maybe you work for an elected official and you want to put political things on your post and your elected official says, no, bro, you don't work here. Number two, when we talk about freedom of speech, you have the right to say whatever the hell you want, but people tend to forget that when you say what you want, our government is not going to arrest you or kill you for saying it. However, your employer has the right to terminate you. Those who are two different things. People confuse freedom of speech with freedom from consequences. There are consequences to our action. So if we get all these calls and people ask, can I file a lawsuit because my employer terminated me for stuff I put on my private social media account? At least in South Carolina, my response is this. They can terminate you for anything they want to. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when employers contacted me and say, how should I terminate an employee? I said, don't give me a damn reason. Sometimes, as the sheriff says, you walk at the will and the discretion of the sheriff. Don't give them a damn reason. There's a famous quote from, I don't even know who to describe it. Someone said something pretty great. You can shit the fuck up or shut the fuck up. Take that, take that, take that, take that. If you want to follow him on video, you could go to the Gateway Punters website on X and they'll show the whole video. But the fact is, yes, and I've been saying this too. I used to work for New York City Transit, and believe me, if you said something that they don't agree with, they will fire you. Even with union protection, they will fire you. They will find a way to fire you. I mean, they did that to Roger Toussaint, but it backfired on them because what he said or his actions didn't violate the company policies, but they didn't like him anyway. But they fired him, but only to come back and become the union president years later. But the thing is, when you're going around celebrating somebody's death, like Charlie Kirk, it's becoming a lightning rod. So that means that if you're going around celebrating him dying, I mean, actually, the only way you're supposed to celebrate Charlie Kirk's death is like at a wake, at a funeral. There's a different version of the celebration. Celebrating him going back to heaven. Celebrating that he's dead because you don't like what he's saying is a whole different ball of wax. That's not something you're supposed to be doing. If you're celebrating and praising Charlie Kirk, that's one thing. But you're celebrating Charlie Kirk's death as, oh, the fascist is gone, or the racist is gone, and I don't like his behind, or in one case, one person saying, now we got Charlie, we need to get rid of the whole family next. No, that is not protected speech. Not at all. If I was still working for New York City Transit and I said I was glad to see Charlie Kirk died, I wouldn't last long at Transit. They would fire me on the spot. And by the way, I don't know how you're going to do this. If you had to go to the unemployment line and you had to explain how you got fired, that's something you didn't even think about, didn't you? No. How are you going to explain to the person at the desk in the unemployment line how you got fired? Oh, I was making fun of Charlie Kirk. You might not even get your unemployment benefits. Well, I'm guessing, South Carolina, but I don't know. It depends on state you're in. So, and by the way, even on the blue liberal states like New York and California, you could still get fired. So you might wanna take it easy on that and do not do that type of celebration. No. If you want to celebrate Charlie Kirk's life, there's a big funeral coming up on the 21st at at the Cardinals stadium over there. I'm not sure what it's called, but or you can watch on TV or whatever they're gonna do. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot celebrate the man's death by dancing over in his grave and acting like a bunch of lunatics, like you just won the World Series or the Super Bowl. That's not how it works. Because other people see you doing that, they don't want to be around you. They don't want you around their kids. They don't want you around in the hospital. They don't want you around anywhere because they don't trust you. You lost that sense of trust. They don't know what you capable of doing. I mean, suppose somebody comes in an emergency, he has a MAGA shirt on, and the doctor's treating him is hardcore liberal. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, I remember is when Ronald Reagan was shot and he had to go to the emergency room. They were supposed to do surgery on him. The doctors had assured President Reagan that, oh, we are all Republicans here, so they can work on him. So he had confidence in his doctors. They saved his life. I don't know if they're all Republican or not, but that's besides the point. But, yeah. I mean, I remember when people were saying, oh, it's too bad they missed him. Yeah, but we didn't have the outcry that we had now. That's a big difference. And, but then again, people don't have the hatred of Trump on Reagan. This is the problem. Ever since the poor man went down the escalator in 2015, all this nonsense and the TDS, and people are just going loco and then coco, No reason for that. Not at all. The man didn't do anything wrong, but even before he got down that escalator, he didn't even touch the floor yet, and they were talking about impeachment in 2015. Remember, he just went down the escalator. He didn't even announce yet. They're already talking about impeachment. That is so crazy. Of course, he got impeached twice. But I think after what's happening with Charlie Kirk, I think it's now a good time for Congress to remove those impeachments because they're not based on reality. They're based on nonsense, which is the reason why Charlie Kirk got killed was for nonsense. Oh, they don't like the fact that he could debate and beat them at their own game. So that's why they took him out. You can't debate nobody. That's not my problem. No, because, like I said, they keep saying he's a fascist, he's anti-gay, he's this, he's that, he's this and that. Look at his videos. Check all his videos out. Where everybody that was on his podcast, you're not going to find any of that stuff. Somebody made something up, and then you're thinking, oh, Charlie Kirk is even worse than Trump. Really? No, he's not. But what you did, you opened up a can of whoop ash that God have mercy on your souls. This is Al Can saying so long for now. Don't forget your stop.